All right, so today we have some more algebra stuff, and it is going to be dealing with negative exponents. All right, but before we can do the negative exponents, I do want you to take a few little notes up here so I can show you exactly why the negative exponents, the rules apply. First time I saw this, I was like, come on, who makes this stuff up? All right, doesn't make sense. All right, why do you do that? All right. So if you want to understand how they figured this out, now's the time you're going to listen. All right? So, again, put the calculators up. Look, come on now. All right, the first thing I want you to do at the top of your paper is we're going to write this down. I want everybody to write 2 to the 4th power. I want somebody to tell me what 2 to the 4th power is. That would be what?
16.
That would definitely be 16. All right? Now, I always try to tell everybody, math is about patterns. All right? So if we are dealing with patterns, all right, you'll be able to recognize and you'll be able to figure out what the rules are. All right? So I have now 2 cubed. What is 2 cubed?
18.
Definitely what?
No, I'm sorry.
8. You're fine. Everybody's good. 2 cubed is 8. All right? William, you're missing it. All right, it's not William's time. It's my time. And in a minute, you're going to be way behind, and you're going to wonder why. 2 squared, somebody tell me, what is 2 squared? Obviously, 4. All right? Now, what's 2 to the 1st? What?
2.
Exactly. Now, are you sure it's 2? Or are you guessing it's 2?
No, I'm sure.
Why?
Because 2. I know 2 to the 0 power is 1.
I'm asking you a question from the pattern here. How did I know that that was going to be 2?
Because you keep dividing all those numbers by 2.
Yes, exactly what I want everybody to understand. Look, from 16 to 8, we divided by 2. From 8 to 4, we divided by 2. All right? So that's how they figured out that anything to the 1st power, is itself. All right? Then they had to do 2 to the 0 power. And then, of course,
1.
think before you say something.
0.
Why is it 0?
Because 2 times 0. But
From here to here, what are we doing?
we're dividing it by 2.
So now, what would this be again? Say it one more time.
0.
Why?
Because 2 divided by 2.
Think about what you just said. So what's 2 divided by 2?
0.
Sometimes.
1.
There you go. That's why it's 1. See, you're thinking about what you think the answer is instead of actually doing the math. All right? So again, anything to the 0 power is always what? Anything to the 0 power is what? Is 1. So if I said, x to the 0, you would say what?
1.
That's 1. If I said 7 to the 0, you would say 1. Again, they just followed patterns. All right? So anything to the 0 power is 1. Now, the topic for today. All right? I'm asking, what do you think 2 to the negative 1 would be? William,
0.
why?
Because if 2 to the 0 power is 1, then
How did I get from one to the other, William?
you divide it.
By what?
You divide it by 2.
You divide it by 2. So what's 2 to the negative 1? Everybody thinks negatives. What do you think it is?
I'm going to say negative.
What do you think?
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. What do you think?
Because
Yeah, but again, I'm not interested in the decimals. I'm not interested in decimals. I'm not interested in using your calculator. I'm simply saying it's obvious based off the pattern. And that's why I'm saying, William, you're not paying attention. You're not listening to me. All right? Yes, I'm with you, Alden. Yeah. All right? I don't want 0.5. I want you to follow the pattern. What am I doing from one step to the other? I'm dividing by 2. So I would say 1 divided by 2. All right, does everybody see that? So you're just continuing the pattern. All right? If I say 2 to the negative 1, I want everybody to understand it's 1/2. Why is it 1/2 again, William? What did I do to get from one step to the other? Yes, you divided by 2. All right? So now if I ask you a crazy question like what is 2 to the negative 2, everybody should be able to say that that is just 1/2 divided by 2. And if I take 1/2 divided by 2, I'd want everybody to know that is 1/4. That's what I would hope you would say. Now, 4 is the same as 2 squared. So I'd want you to be able to say, well, that just is the same as 1 over 2 squared. Now, what am I trying to show you? I'm trying to show you the relationship between the negative exponent and the relationship with the fraction. What?
I'm learning this now, but will we be able to use our calculator?
What does it matter? What does it matter? Yeah, of course, we're always going to be able to use your calculator. I've told you that. You're always going to be able to use a calculator. You don't ever have to ask me that again. I don't care about the calculator. I want you to understand negative exponents. That's what I want you to do. All right? So what is the relationship? If you have a negative exponent, all you're doing is you're moving it from the numerator down to the what? You're moving it down to the denominator. Now, when you move it, the sign changes from a negative to a what? The sign changes from a negative to a positive. Now, like I said, the first time I saw that, it didn't make much sense to me. And then I realized that it is just a pattern. So if I said to you 2 to the negative 3, we can just go ahead and say that's the same as what? 1/8, which is the same as what, though?
0.125.
Oh my goodness.
1.
You guys, listen. This, you're not even close. You're trying to see the pattern. This is what I'm doing as I'm going down. All right? Now we talked about this right here. 4 squared, cubed, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2. Now I'm at negative 3. We just said 2 to the negative 2 is the same as 1 over 2 squared. So using exponents, 2 to the negative 3 is the same as?
1 and 2 to the power 3.
Yes, 1 over. Very good. 1 over 2 cubed. Now, those of you guys who said 1/8, yes, that is correct. Those of you guys who said 0.125, yes, that is correct. I'm now interested in writing them as exponents, though. I'm interested in writing them as exponents. So I'm going to say one more time, 2 to the negative 4 would be the same as what? 1/16, but as an exponent, it would be written as John. Yes, 1 over 2 to the 4th. You with me now? Right? So now if I said something crazy like 2 to the negative 5, you could just simply tell me that's what? Say it now. 1 over 2 to the 5th, right? And of course, everybody in here knows 2 to the 5th is 32. So if you said 1 over 32, I wouldn't care. That's just not the lesson. The lesson right now is to eliminate the negative exponents. All right? The lesson is to eliminate the negative exponents. So here's what we got now. I want to see if you understand me. If I said 7 to the negative 5, what's that the same as? Tell me. Yes, 1 over 7 to the 5th. And if I did something wild and crazy, like let's say I said x to the negative 8th. Tell me that would be what?
It'd be x. No, x over x. No. I know 1 over x. To the.
1 over x to the 8th. All right, now let's get real crazy. Let's say I said something like 5x to the negative 4. What's that the same as? Who can tell me? Rivers.
1 over 5x 4 up.
What do you think?
1 and 5x to the power of 4.
What do you think?
1 over 5x to the power of 4.
Tell us the right answer. Tell us.
1 over 5.
No, tell us.
5 over 4. Or 5 over x to the 4th.
I'm really proud of you.
What?
Just instead of saying what, look at what he said the answer was and try to figure it out. All right? That's what I got to try to stop some of you. Your initial response shouldn't be, oh my gosh, what in the world? How about just look at it and see? All right? What has the negative exponent here? The x. Does a 5 have a negative exponent?
No.
No. So does that move?
No.
No, that doesn't move. That stays where it should be. All right? We want to try to keep it as a positive exponent. And that 5 technically has an exponent that is a 1. All right, so let's see if we can get real crazy now. All right? What if I said 1 over 3 to the negative 4? What would that be the same as? Tell me. Give it a shot. It doesn't matter. Remember what I said. It's much better to try and be wrong than just sit and do nothing. What do you think? Shh. Well, yes, you're right. It is 81, but I don't care about 3 to the 4th is 81. I want to know what it is as an exponent.
3
Yes.
to the 4th.
Yes, 3 to the 4th power. Now, why is that? Because, again, see how this is a negative exponent. It's on the bottom, right? So we move it to the what? Top. And we make now the exponent a positive. All right? So now let's see if I made myself clear. Let's look at this example. X to the negative 2, y to the negative 3. Morgan, what's my answer? Give it a shot, remember?
To the power of 2.
Where's that at? On the top or the bottom? Mm-mm. It's already x to the negative 2. Ryan, help her. What is it?
X to the negative 2, then y to the negative 3.
That's exactly what that says. Now I don't want any negative exponents. So what do I have to do?
X to the power of 2, y to the power of 3.
What do you think? Say it louder.
Y to the power of 2 over x.
You're close. You're
Oh,
close. Say it again.
Y to the power of 3 over x.
Brilliant. That's it. So the rule is, if it has a negative exponent, you just have to move it. If it's in the numerator, you put it where? If it's in the denominator, you put it in the numerator. That's all. That's so simple. Simple, simple. All right, so here we go. I'm going to see if someone else can help me do this one. 3x to the negative 4 over y to the 5th. Kiara, tell me. Which one has a negative exponent first? The x. So what do I have to do? Now, put your hands down. The only one you move is the one with the negative exponent. So which one has to move? The x. So I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to move it down here. When I move it down there, what happens to the exponent? That's the answer. So the answer is just 3 over x to the 4th, y to the 5th. That's the answer.
I think he's good.
I did, on purpose. They're supposed to be written in alphabetical order.
Oh, I thought it was x4. Oh, wait.
All right. One last thing before we look at the assignment. Hold on a minute. Let's do something like this. If I said x to the 7th, I want you to write it with negative exponents. What would that be?
Would it be 1 over x to the 7th?
1 over x to the what?
7th.
It can't be the same.
Negative 7.
Yes, it would be 1 over x to the negative 7. So if I said this, if I said x 1 over x to the 4th, if I want to write that as a negative exponent, Mr. Danzy, what would that be?
1x to the negative 4.
That's exactly right. 1x to the negative 4. So I'm just trying to tell you, if you move it, if it's in the numerator, you move to the denominator, just change the sign. If it's in the denominator and you move it to the numerator, you just change the sign. Now, traditionally, we don't write with negative exponents, all right? But you'll find out later as you advance through math, negative exponents is common, is normal. What?
Wouldn't it just be x negative 4?
Yeah, you don't have to have the 1 in front. It's not wrong to have 1 in front.
Okay, I also have another question. For like x negative 2 and y negative 3, you would flip it, but I'm still confused.
Because you changed the sign. If they're negative exponents, you just move. All right? So now, let's go back. All right, let's start with number 1 now. Let's see how good I did. All right, Mr. Strickland, what's the answer? If I'm going to write just positive exponents, what would I do for number 1?
1 and 6 over 2.
Now, that didn't come out right. Say it again.
Wait, 1 is over 6 to the power of 2.
Yes, I like that. 1 over 6 to the power of 2, or 1 over 6 squared. All right, Trimble, you help me out with number 2, please.
2, 1 over 2.
That's all. All right, the only thing you're changing is the exponent. William, you with me on that? The only thing you're changing is the exponent. All right, if it's a negative exponent, you have to move it. Boys, come on. It's part of the reason. Listen. William, number 3, what is that? Look at number 1. What's the answer to number 1, buddy?
1 6 or 1 6 to the second power. 1 over 6 squared.
Right. What's the answer to number 2?
1 1 and 2 to the third.
You're trying to recognize the patterns now, William. What's number 3 then?
1 and
Come on.
1 to the fourth power.
Now, this is a variable. So, William, the rule is if it has a negative exponent, you move it. William, look at me, because I'm not giving you a hard time. Well, you were up, getting a pencil, sharpening, plugging your iPad, and I told you you were going to get what? You're going to get behind and not know how to do it. And you're going to be upset. Don't do that anymore. Get in here and get prepared, right? And let me teach you. You hear me? That's how important it is to sit down and pay attention. All right, I don't want you missing 2 or 3 minutes. So if there's a negative exponent, you move it. That's all there is. So do you agree it was x to the negative 5? So all you do is you drop it down and make it 1 over x to the 5th. You hear me? Now, you're going to write on your answer to number 4 on your paper, and you're going to listen to Rivers tell you what the answer is. Write it down right now. Tell him the answer, Rivers.
1 over b to the power of 7.
1 over b to the 7th. Now, William, are you caught up now? All right. Come Come on, get your head up. Let's go. Get back on track. You know what I mean? Nothing to be upset about. All right, here we go. Now I'm over to Mr. Greek. Now you have to write it as a negative exponent. So how would I write that as a negative exponent? That's it, buddy. 2 to the negative 6. Brilliant. All right, Alden, what about number 6?
Okay, so 6 would be negative 8 to the, I'm sorry, 8 to the negative second.
Right, 8 to the negative second. Brilliant. 8 to the negative second. What? No, I'm going around the room. Everybody's going to get a shot, I promise you. Be ready. Your time is coming. All right, Kara, tell me about number 7. To the... you didn't, there's a 1 here, kiddo. If you don't see an exponent, it's a 1. So it'd be 9 to the, yes, 9 to the negative 1. Everybody write that down, 9 to the negative 1. All right, now I also want to tell you this, that 9 can also be 3 squared. Do you agree with me? 9 is 3 squared. So we could write this as 1 over 3 squared, which is then also, you could write it as 3 to the negative 2. Now on your test, if you wrote 9 to the negative 1, I'd be happy. You hear me on that? All right. But I think the answer in the book tonight, if you check your answers, I think they'll have 3 to the negative 2. All right, let's take a look at 1 over 36. Yes, what do you think?
36 to the negative.
Right, 36 to the negative 1.
Why does the positive switch to negative?
I don't know what you mean. Why the positives?
Like, when, on any of them. When you say, because you have 1 over 36, why does that turn into 36 over negative 1?
It doesn't say 36 over negative 1.
36 to the negative 1.
So I don't want you to say never mind. What do you think? Listen to me. This is why I'm frustrated. You guys were messing around with your calculators, and I said, please listen, or you're going to miss something. And some of you just don't believe me. So you just continue to do what you want to do, and then you miss something. And now I'm on question number 8, and you're asking me about question number 1. Tell me, didn't you just say, why does it become a negative 1? Isn't that what
I know that you do that, but I'm not sure why.
Were you not here for this entire
I was ready.
lesson right here? This right here was the absolute biggest thing that we did. The biggest thing that we did right there. I started out with 2 to the 4th and we did all the patterns. And I went down and I showed you that 2 to the negative 3 was the same as 1 over 2 cubed. Because of the patterns that were established. That's why. And I used to say, who made up the rules? It wasn't a rule. It was a what? It was simply a pattern. That's all. It wasn't someone sitting back. I thought someone was just messing around and making up these rules, right, to make math difficult. Had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with logic, right? If you look at the numbers, you can see sequentially what is going on. All right, that's what I would want you to know. All right, so now back to this. So 36 to the negative 1 is the same as 1 over 36. What else could that be? Tell me what else 36 to the negative 1 could be. It's just like question number 7.
6 to the negative second.
Yes, thank you. 6 to the negative second, right? Now, if you wrote 36 to the negative 1 on a test, would you get the correct answer? Yes. All right, but some of us know that 6 squared is 36, so then that could also be written as 6 to the negative 2. That's all.
No, because
Some of you just say things. What did I just say, Alden? Go back and listen. All right? And then you'll get the answer. All right. So let's cross out number 9 for now. All right, I don't care about the word problem for now. All right, which leads me to Austin. All right, here we go. The first thing I want you to do is tell me what y to the negative 7 is the same as. With a y.
1 over 7 to the regular. Not regular.
Tell me what it is. So what?
1 over. Oh no, y is a thing.
No, I don't care about that. I said write y to the negative 7 properly.
So 1 over y to the 7th power.
Yes, 1 over y to the 7th. Beautiful. Everybody's going to write that down. Okay? Everybody writes that down. What?
It's not.
Now, what's y? What's y?
2.
So now I want you to write 1 over 2 to the 7th. All right, now here we go. Ready? 2 to the 7th is not needed calculator. What's first? 2.
4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 108, 128.
Music to my ears. Thank you. 1 over 128. And listen, that just takes a little bit of practice. 2 to the powers are always on the test. All right? Are you allowed to use your calculator for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it necessary? No. You don't need to do that because you can count by 2s. All right? Pretty quickly. All right? You should be able to. If not, you need to sit at home and practice. All right? Now, here we go. So, number 11 brings me to
1 and x over negative 3. Or, no, 1 and x to the negative 3 power.
what does it equal?
It equals
I'm in like Twilight Zone. Go.
1 and x over 3.
Yes, 1 over x to the 3rd. That's what I wanted you to say. 1 over x to the 3rd. Now what is x?
X is negative 4.
Okay, so now it's going to be 1 over negative 4 cubed, or to the 3rd power. What?
Why would you put parentheses around it?
Because we're making a substitution. We talked about that a lot yesterday. Yes, sir. Well, sometimes you get the wrong answer. Remember we talked about it yesterday? If it's to an even power, it's going to be positive. If you don't put it in parentheses, it'll give you a negative, right? But because it's to the 3rd power, it's going to be negative anyway. All right, so now 4 times 4 times 4. What is that? 64. So the answer here is negative 1 over 64. Negative 1 over 64. Now why is it negative? Because a negative times a negative times a negative is a what? Is a negative. There we go. All right. Now if you want, take out your calculator. Type in negative 4 to the 3rd power. Now technically you should have parentheses around it. All right. Technically you should have parentheses around it. If you don't have parentheses, it's still going to be the correct answer because it's going to be negative regardless. All right? What? Yes. So what is it? So you typed in on your calculator negative 4 to the negative 3.
Wait, you said negative.
So what's the answer, guys? No. 1 over, yes, 4 cubed is 64, but the original problem is x to the negative 3. So if you type it on your calculator, negative 4 to the negative 3. What is negative 4 to the negative 3? Change it to a fraction. Change it to a fraction. Negative 1 over 64. Exactly. Right? If it comes out to be a decimal and you want it as a fraction, you just hit the fraction decimal button and it clicks it over to a fraction. Now sometimes your fraction might be so small that it can't do it, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, also. All right. So now 3 to the x is the same as what? 3 to the what power? Yes, thank you. Negative 4. All right, so just go ahead, finish it off. So what would that be? 3 to the negative 4. How do I rewrite that?
1 and 3 is 4.
That's correct. All right. Now here's where some of you misunderstood what I said. 3 to the 4th, I would just want you to know as 3 to the 4th. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. So I'd want you to understand, boys, that it's not 81. 1 over 81. All right, 1 over 81. So now go back to your calculator and type in 3 to the negative 4 and then convert it to a fraction. And what do we got? 1 over 81. Does everybody see that? 1 over 81. Now, do I really want you using a calculator for 3 to the negative 4? No. You should be able to tell anyone 3 to the 4th is 81. And because it's a negative exponent, it's going to be 1 over 81. Anybody have any issues with that? All right, so here we go. Let's take a look now. Let's continue. All right, 14. Morgan, tell me what the answer is for 14. We just want to use positive exponents.
So 1 over 11 to the power of 6.
Yes, 1 over 11 to the 6th power. Beautiful. All right, Ryan.
1 over 7.
You are amazing. 1 over 7 to the 1st. What did I skip? Thank you. So 13, tell me.
8 and 2.
Now why 2? So let's just start out with 8 over, yes, 8 over y to the 4th. Now I understand what you're saying. And then y is what? Right, so there you go. 8 over 2 to the 4th. And now what's 2 to the 4th? Yes, right. So now 8 over 16 reduces to? Exactly right. You don't need a calculator for that. You do not need a calculator for that. You shouldn't be using a calculator. You're up now. You're on 16. What's that going to be? Yeah, that's it. 1 over negative 4 to the 5th. And some people know that 4 to the 5th is 1024. So if you want to write 1 over 1024. Now, let's do that on the calculator. Let's see, because I think this one won't come up on your calculator. I don't think, right? So everybody do negative 4. Oh, by the way, it is negative, sorry. Write in negative 4 to the negative 5. Does it come up as a fraction?
No.
No, it comes up. So it's too small. All right, it's too small for most of the calculators. All right, so what I want you to do is I want everybody to do 4 to the 5th. And what's 4 to the 5th? 1024, right? So that just goes where? In the denominator. Does everybody see what I just did there, right?
Yes.
All right, sometimes the decimal is too small to convert back to a fraction. The calculator doesn't have that ability. All right, so what you want to do is you just want to tell me what 4 to the 5th is and understand that's the number in the denominator. All right, hopefully you understand that. All right.
I got negative 0.00.
No, you didn't. You just aren't listening. That's all. It's not a big deal.
I know there's something about
That's all right.
but you're not.
Never mind, Alden.
Come on.
All right. Number 17. Where we at? Go ahead, Oscar. What is this? First, tell me.
1 to the parentheses 5 to the power 4. 1 over 5 to the power 4.
Now, notice I didn't remove the negative from the 5. All right. You left it in lone, kept it in parentheses, and you moved the whole thing down. All right. And so now, this negative to an even power is 1 over 625. 1 over 625. Now, I'm not sure if your calculator will do that either. 625. Everybody type in 5 to the negative 4. It's too small, correct? Yeah, so again, you would just do 5 to the 4th and put it on the bottom.
And then,
Did yours do it?
yeah,
All right,
I got it.
good.
I got it.
All right, so it wasn't too small.
I'm just like over it.
All right, Davis, here we go. You tell me about 18, please.
18 is 1 over a to the second power.
Yes, 1 over a squared. Exactly. Reagan, tell me about 19.
1 over k 8.
Yes, brilliant. 1 over k to the 8. 20. Go ahead, tell me.
1 over
Beautiful. 1 over b to the 15th. Okay, guys, finish up. The only thing I don't really care about, is the word problems. We'll have another test on the word problems. So just finish up. I also posted the solutions. All right, please double check. I don't care if you use a calculator, but not all of them require a calculator. Try to do the multiplication. All right? Whatever we said. Listen, is everything okay?
How am I supposed to guess how
All right.
I'll never guess. Because I thought all I needed was
What do we have?